Heyo and welcome to another episode of Pine Harbor County, where we will use and abuse the new operating district mechanic that was introduced in Cities Skylines 2. In the last episode, we showcased the French Content Creator Pack by finishing our construction in Elders Bend with all the French services and signature buildings, a unique use for the French water tower, and some fun detailing spots. So if you happen to miss the last episode, then click on the info card above, or if you are looking for a new Cities Skylines 2 series to binge watch, then check out the entire Build&Beautify Season 1 playlist located in the description below. Today's episode is a tad bittersweet as we will finish the construction of Pine Harbor County by finishing the city of Ashton, which will feature all of the German Content Creator Pack. Before we begin building, I am wicked excited to announce that our channel hit its first milestones and now has channel memberships, merchandise, and highlighted comments available for those who want to help the channel become financially self-sustainable. So if you're looking for a new mug to drink your favorite caffeinated beverage of choice from, or a new hoodie to snuggle up and binge watch Pine Harbor County in, then check out the link to the merchandise store located in the description below. Or feel free to subscribe to channel memberships, where we have 3 different tiers providing you special emojis, shoutouts in the end credits, or early access to episodes of Pine Harbor County. We now also have super thanks, which are highlighted comments you can purchase in which the proceeds will support the channel directly. And finally, to all those who have purchased highlighted comments, merchandise, or memberships, thank you so much for supporting the channel and playing video games with us. Alrighty, I'm wicked excited to start today's episode, so kick back, grab your caffeinated beverage of choice, and let's jump right on into it. So in Ashton, we already have a majority of our arterial roads laid out from previous episodes. However, we do want to start today's episode by taking a second and coming in by building a few more connector and local roads. So let's start with that and see where the road design takes us. what I was hoping to do with today's episode was showcase the assets that came with the German Content Creator Pack. And I want to do this by starting with honestly, just the downright gorgeous school assets that came with this pack. So if we click in, where's our school tab? Right here, let's just filter. They're so beautiful, just so beautiful. So let's jump on in and let's plop some of these down and try to make a nice fusion out of them. Before I jump in and kind of beautify this block out a little bit, I really love so much how they made these assets. I love that there are separated like wings that are still fitting within the footprint of the asset itself. Something about these just really reminded me of a lot of the schools in my area. So like, for instance, in our little town center, we have a school that looks maybe not a corner asset, but just like this. It's old, it's a brick building, and I never realized just how much German architecture was in my area until I saw this asset pack. All right, rambling aside, let's jump on in and let's finish decorating up this block here. Next up is the fire assets, and honestly, I absolutely love the brick detailing on these assets, and I think they could work wicked well with a lot of the North American assets that we already have. But now, let's fuse the two German fire assets together and see what unique designs we can create with just the German pack alone, because I know if I started to pull in the North American assets, we could be here all day experimenting with the different combinations. All right, the final service I want to add right in this area is the police stations. So if we come on in here, just filter to make it easy. We have two beautiful police stations, and I know there is a breathtaking train station that we received as well. However, for now, I am going to save this historic central station for some future surprises in store. So let's for now focus just on the police stations and wiggle a couple of those in. Ooh, I think that police station may have just become one of my favorite ones. I just love the difference in the bricks here. They just did such a good job. The content creation packs are just absolutely phenomenal. Anywho, let's jump on in. Let's kind of clean up the decorations in this area a little bit because there's a little bit more I want to add into this block before we move on to zoning and transit. So the German Content Creator Pack comes with 3 commercial-only assets for signature buildings. Honestly, I really like these assets, especially this big chunk. It's so big. So I'm gonna start plopping this one here, and I thought this, yeah, see how big that is? I thought this would look perfect facing out over our roundabout. So let's get a little road in there and let's give it some space and then plop that on in. right, next let's add in another department store, and this one is going to be the corner because I want to I want to try and wiggle the corner piece right in here, right next to it. So let's try to wiggle that in next. Alright, and before we jump in and start adding in some custom parks in some of our weird spaces, I do just want to add the last asset, which is this one. Just a regular row building department store. Before we lay out some zoning, I want to first prioritize our transit so we can add commercial zones around our stops and focus on that transit-oriented development that I honestly love way too much. So let's begin by laying out some tracks and focusing on the geographical coverage throughout the city of Ashton. Okay, now let's place in some stops, again focusing on the geographical location so that the stops are spaced out in a sensible manner, but also focusing on some of the points of interest such as the signature buildings, the service buildings, and a lot of the buildings that we actually have kind of to the west that we built multiple episodes back. Alright, and finally, let's plop in our lines and let the trams begin their route from the depots. I think I'm gonna do something just a little bit impulsive, and we're going to take just a bus shelter and just put a stop, how about here and here, and just connect this Blackpool Industrial Park BRT to Alders Bend line right on in. Perfect. That way, if anyone in Ashton wants to go over to the Blackpool Industrial Sector for work, they can just jump on the existing line. All right. With all our services, attractions, and transit laid out, we are ready to begin breathing life into this area with some zoning. And I have really grown fond of starting with commercial so we can prioritize it around our tram stops. Now, the German Content Creator Pack doesn't have commercial specific zoning, but mixed instead. And thus, this is what we are going to do around the tram stops. So let's jump on in and add some of the, pause for suspense, German mixed housing. Okay, so next I would like to repeat with our office buildings because the Sims will choose to go to their homes, to work, to shopping or leisure, and then home again. Therefore, I want to make sure their office jobs are in a spot close to the transit as well. The German Content Creator Pack does not come with office-specific zoning, so I am going to experiment by fusing in some of the North American office zoning in both high and low densities, I think. I'm hoping these fuse nicely together, so let's jump on in and spam some of the office buildings in. All right, now let's fill in the rest with residential, and this is, in my opinion, the bread and butter of the German Content Creator Pack. This pack just comes with so many phenomenal medium density wall-to-wall residential buildings, and I'm so excited to see how this pans out. So let's jump in and let's start getting these growing. Before we do that though, I am going to try a little experiment and see what happens if we lay out a surface first and then the zoning. Will the buildings spawn over the surface instead of being demolished as they usually do when we try to build on them later on? That is my main question. So let's start by getting a surface, and we'll experiment that surface. Where's some good zoning? Let's experiment one of the surfaces kind of up here and see how it works out, and then let's spam in a bunch of the German medium density housing and wait a lifetime for all of it to grow in. If you haven't noticed, guys, we're hitting our caps. Mr. Beefy, my computer, seems to like having a population under 450k for this game, and our demand has just, it's still catching up actually from Alders Bend. So yeah. Alrighty, I think that just about wraps up today's episode. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like below and let me know your thoughts on today's build. Now, today's episode also wraps up Pine Harbor County, and I am wicked excited to announce our new city, Oneida Bay, which will be featured in Build&Beautify Season 2, our Cities Skylines Let's Play, where we will build a beautiful, environmentally clean city packed with innovation and history. AKA, I'm trying my hand at my first dream city. So be sure to tune in on December 4th at 5:45 p.m. EST for the premiere of Season 2 and early access to Episode 1 for all Level 3 channel members. Finally, if you're looking for a new series to binge watch between now and next week's premiere, then check out the entire Build&Beautify Season 1 playlist located in the description below, or Build & Battle Season 3, our Manor Lords Let's Play located in the info card above. Until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.